What's up, Canes fans? Happy Sunday to all of you. Yesterday, our Miami Hurricanes took care of business and beat Pitt 31-19. Now, yes, at times it was ugly, but we got the win, and that's all that matters, especially coming off that loss to Clemson last week. Now, in past years, like I said in my last video, this is normally a game where we would come out flat and either lose or maybe barely eke by with a win against an inferior opponent. And yes, as talented and as good a defense as I think Pittsburgh has, we were definitely the better team. The game was a lot closer than it really should have been. Now, I'm going to go over some of the positives and negatives and things that I think Miami can build on moving forward. First, I'm going to start with the good stuff. Sam Brooks, Corey Flagg, they really impressed me. On that first drive, they came in and to substitute for Brandon Jennings and Zach McLeod, who are the normal starters. Brooks and Flagg, after seeing them on the first possession, you saw an immediate upgrade in the pass defense. These guys should be, if not starting, they should be at least splitting the snaps 50-50 with Jennings and McLeod. At the very least, I think Brooks and Flagg are ready to play. Even though Corey Flagg's a freshman, you saw, pre-snap reads, you saw him getting guys lined up. He did not look out of place whatsoever. He was making tackles. He was always around the ball. Another thing I have to mention is the D-line. They all played great across the board. Jared Harrison-Hunt, Silvera, Jafari Harvey, Phillips, Roche, all of them played great. They put constant pressure on the QB. They did not let up. They made great plays against the run. I believe they held Pitt, I have the stat right here, they held Pitt to about 50 yards rushing if you just look at what their running backs did. 50 rushing yards for the game. That's pretty dominant. Another thing I got to mention, De'Ara King, yes, he did not look sharp for most of the game. Had some misfires, had a couple of interceptions. One was on a deflection, not totally his fault. The other one was absolutely his fault. Should not have made that throw. Made a lot of inaccurate throws as well. But he did come out with 4 touchdown passes. I believe he finished 16 for 31, 222 yards. Not too bad there. What I did like was his leadership really showed on that final drive that really iced the game for us. It was 28-19 in the fourth quarter, and we got the ball with about 11 minutes to go in the game. We go on a 7-minute, 11-second drive to ice this game, leaving Pitt down 12 points and only 4 minutes to go. To me, that was the end of the game. Again, that was King showing his leadership. On the first play of that drive, he keeps it, he runs and goes for 22 yards for a first down. Huge play. I think that play is going to be there all season. He needs to do a lot more of this. Another guy I got to mention that stepped up really big was to Corey Couch. He went out there and had 3 pass breakups. 2 of them, if I remember correctly, were on big plays down the field, where he just went stride for stride with the receiver and knocked it away. Those were huge plays, and I think we're going to see a lot more to Corey Couch moving forward. Will Mallory had his best game as a Hurricane so far. This kid's got a bright future, not just here at Miami, but he's going to be playing on Sundays one day. He's prototypical tight end. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, and he can move. But that being said, we hopefully will get Brevin Jordan back soon, so to have that duo at tight end for the stretch run to the end of the season will be very important. And of course, I got to mention our punter, Lou Headley, who time after time after time, when we needed it, he flipped the field on Pittsburgh. And he put them inside the 20, inside the 15, which you don't realize how huge that is until you don't have a punter. Just a couple of years ago, we had a punter that couldn't do that for us. He was shanking kicks. He was punting at 20 yards, 25 yards, and really put our defense in jeopardy. And now for some of the negatives and things that I think they really need to clean up if they're serious about winning out and getting back to the ACC championship. First of all, the penalties. Yes, we did bring those down a bit. We didn't have 15 penalties for 130 yards again, but there were a couple of key penalties that extended drives and gave Pitt some points that shouldn't have been there. So that first scoring drive that Pittsburgh had where they got a field goal, that drive was actually extended by Jalen Phillips roughing the passer. And really, all he did was kind of, it's one of those where he had his hands up and he pushed the guy in the face, and, they're going to call that every time. He's got to be smarter. So that extended the drive and ended up giving them a field goal. Another one that drove me insane was Gilbert Frierson jumping off sides on 4th down. on a punt. What are you doing jumping off sides on 4th down? We already made the stop. There's no reason for you to do that. We didn't need a block punt in that situation. Just stay on side. Stay, just stay disciplined. So that offsides extended the drive. Luckily, Isaiah Dunson on the fake punt later that same drive made a huge stop and we got the ball back. But you commit those penalties and give new life to a good team, say North Carolina, Sam Howell's going to ram that ball right down your throat and they're going to score on that drive. I can pretty much guarantee they're going to capitalize on that opportunity if you give it to them. So we cannot be doing that against good teams. And obviously the turnovers, the interceptions, I mean, that plus the penalties, this easily could have been a 17-0 game or a 21-0 game going into the half. And we would have just cruised to a huge victory in the second half. Another thing I got to mention, the defense overall played very well. I thought this was arguably the best game that they've played all season. It's either this game or the FSU game. In both games, they look very dominant. One thing I did not like was the fact that we're playing a very young, inexperienced quarterback. Kenny Pickett obviously was out, so this kid had to step in and lead the team in Miami. And I felt like we barely dialed up any extra blitzes, any pressure, just to force his hand and force him into bad throws. It seems like we didn't figure it out until towards the end of the game. We could have been doing it so much earlier and they wouldn't have had 19 points. We probably would have had more takeaways and maybe put more points on the board. So that's something to look out for moving forward. I really think our defense should be more aggressive. And last but not least, at the wide receiver position, I need to see more of those young guys play. Not just one play here and there, not just a deep pass every once in a while. No, I need to see these guys getting significant snaps and getting targets. The upperclassmen, they're just not getting it done. I will say this, Mark Pope had a pretty decent game. He had 5 catches for 50-something yards. I don't have the stat right in front of me, but he actually had a decent game. I think Mark Pope will find a role on this team more as a short pass kind of slot receiver because the guy is good with the ball in his hands. He's not going to go up and get it. He's not one of these 6'3", 6'4" guys that's going to make, it's just going to go up and make a play on any corner. He's the type of guy you got to hit underneath. You got to hit him in space. Again, he's good with the ball in his hands. And if he can catch the ball, he will make plays, and I think that's how we got to use him. Maybe some slants, some curls, some drag routes, some little bubble screens, maybe a little jet sweep here and there. I think that's how they got to use Mark Pope. As for the other guys, I need to see more Michael Redding, and I need to see more Keyshawn Smith. I mean, their talent really jumps off the screen when they're out there. I need to see more of those guys. Anyways, that's it for me. As always, it's all about the U. Have a great week, and let's beat Virginia.